Okay, so just taking a look at the page, kind of anticipating some of these drawings for composing them, and then it may use the template in putting this together, but just going to come up with the beginning, kind of get the proportion of what it's going to be, the distance to it, and the section, so just kind of laying that out there. If I think of the drawing as a profile, just to kind of sketch this out, if this was a center line, this T at the top has a little bit of a wooden taper. You can't see it, almost as if it was an orthographic drawing. There it is, almost equal distances on either side. Comes down to a secondary piece at the base and tapers down to a point with an elliptical shape here, maybe one here, exaggerating so at least you can see where they would be onto that side. And then if it was tilted top or bottom is when you would see the top of it this way, or if it went the other direction, you would see it from underneath or on top. So it's just trying to give you those parameters a heads up so it's not too difficult to understand. Just trying to make sure if they go one way, all the elliptical shapes that you make are going inverted or in the other direction. So just by doing a slight sketch here, I can find the center line, and in this case, since I'm going to borrow this template, just going to place it in there, kind of rough section, and maybe offset the drawing a little bit and see about placing this in here. So I'm going to try it a couple ways, but here's the overall outside edge, and I kind of feel pretty confident at that side. And as I drop it down, just going to move it, keep it just a little bit smaller, because it does taper right away, some of them, but it'll give you that initial slope, and if you look at it right away, you can see the tangent line that it's created. Placing that in there, and placing that in there. So that gives me the top section. So now I can kind of anticipate the rest, estimate the distance, and make this large enough that you can see it down there. I'm going to go down to here and put the point down there. So I'm going to extend this down a little further to then bring it up to there. And as this tapers, it has a bell shape, so I'm going to find the selection there where I can place another elliptical shape that you don't necessarily see, but just kind of position it, drop this one down, and make it just a little bit smaller. And it tapers down, and there's the point. So again, if I were to follow tangent, at least close to it, just a light, just to get me started. Kind of connecting the edge dots, making it pretty obvious here. And there's the outer edge, so it's pretty well placed in there. This part I could hand off, so there's rounding it off there, but I'm just going to place a little template inside there just so you can see the possibilities of these. So that gives me this outer section, and then it's just a matter of combining it a little heavier and start with the shading. Now, depending on which direction I decide to go, I'm going to give myself a pretty heavy outline here. And that gives me that edge to it. And again, once I have this outline, it'll at least help me with that piece that's in there. And this part actually has a little bit of a divot, and that's part of the golf phraseology, so I'm just going to give myself a little bit of a curved line in there just to offset it there. Now, just to show this to you, just going to keep that line up there, just to give it a little shadow. So the light's coming from the top there. And again, if I go half the distance, taper this one down here, this one this way, it'll give me this. This has a little bit of a loop, and if you look close enough to it, zoom into the reference that you have. I'm kind of doing this one right here. So it shows that edge to it, dark to a light. And right at this part, you're starting to see the reflected light of this. And that's helping the shadow to it. And this part that I've outlined, I'm just going to very quickly blend it so it goes from a soft edge right up in there. Same here. Here's this outer edge. It's pretty bright, but I'm just going to give it a light tone to that edge. I can always come back. I'm just going to borrow this template again. If you make it larger, you'll see some of the detail. Again, it's a simple looking shape. Some have writing on it. And then this part where it's like a funnel, just let that part cut across. Here's a line that separates this, just going to blend it. That gives you that selection there. And again, when you look up close, I just have a couple nicks in this piece. And a darker value blending into that. So give that a try. You can use a template or just do it freehand. Make it larger. large enough so you can see it.